How fast did someone find out that you were doing this?
About a year and a half.
Were you married during this time?
I am.
If you opened up a bakery, everyone would embrace it, right? Everyone would be like, oh, Nana's cookie shop, blah, 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 right? But Nana's panty shop is hard.
Okay, guys, listen, we're going to start this off with some people hustle stocks, some people hustle real estate, some people sell meth, and some people sell panties. Okay, we got the number one panty seller in the house. Give a round of applause to Granny Panty.
I think the coolest thing about you is that you did what every single pedestrian white girl I've ever met says they want to do. Like every girl hits me up and they're like, you think like I can make some money selling foot photos? And it's like, yeah, you could, but you have to commit. You have to really do it. It's not just like, oh my God, I have a foot, I could sell it, right? But you gave up a pedestrian life to really commit and sell panties. That's so cool.
That's definitely something different. And it's just something that nobody's ever thought that is going to be like lucrative or you could even build something off of it. And you just ran with it.
Is this your stage name?
Yes.
Ruby?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it Ruby Lynne?
Yes.
Or Ruby?
It's Ruby Lynne or Ruby. Okay. I answer to,
because Ruby Lynne is very Southern.
Yeah,
it sounds
like,
you know, when they have like a second name like that, it's like, ooh, Ruby Lynne.
But there was another one that was a different name, right, that you started with?
Right. So when I first started, do you know who the artist Modson is?
Yeah.
Modson. So I've loved Modson for a long time. And he had this beta fish that he called Catalina May.
Catalina May.
Yeah. And so that was my first stage name.
Catalina May definitely sounds like maybe a Filipino girl.
Yeah, or, you know,
when
Mexican.
did you switch it?
Right.
So I switched it when I rebranded. I started in fall of 2019 with the panty thing, and it just didn't work out. Like, I did it for a couple months, and I stopped. I deleted my account.
Is it because you felt like you had no real business plan yet? It was just more of like, all right, I know this is how I can make money. I'm going to go try to tinker, and it wasn't yielding enough results for you to, like, stay as that.
Excuse me. So, yeah, I saw a group on Facebook. It's still there. I'm still a part of it. It's called Scarlett's Chambers. And these girls were talking about selling their dirty panties and making all this money.
How dirty?
Yeah.
Well, as dirty as you want to pay for.
Jesus. So meaning like period dirty.
Yeah,
poop,
there was
like
a lot
dirty.
of that. Mm-hmm.
Streak marks?
Yeah.
Is there a market for guys' panties with streak marks?
I don't know.
There's
I think there could be.
There's no woman out there that's like, I want
some tighty whities with streak marks.
Like a guy who's been, you know, a plumber for 8 hours, like his drenched tighty whities.
It's not the women that are buying those though. It's the gay and bi males. So I actually know somebody that sells his dirty socks to men.
Right. You're right.
Like
it's not. It's once again. It always
$1,500 for a pair.
Worn 30 days straight without taking them off.
No, you're tripping. I'm about to start this business up ASAP. You crazy?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Men are dirtbags. That's why we're the customer, even of guy shit, right? You would be like, oh, women would buy it. But you're like, no, women aren't. Like, they don't need dirty socks.
Has anyone ever told you what they do with them after they buy them? What do they do with them?
So, a couple of different things.
Regift.
So, they'll either wear them. So, maybe they're kind of a cross-dresser. Like closet, you know, they could be married, whatever. They'll wear them. Most guys off with them.
Like holding them, you think, in their mouth?
Yeah, they usually put them on their face with the crotch over their nose and off. Or
sorry, I'm laughing because the visual is just lights out, honestly.
You've never put underwear on your face?
Nah, I have, but it like for joking purposes, not like to like sit there and lay there with the shits covering your face.
Well, a smell could take you back, right? You never smell something and be like, oh my God, that reminds me of my childhood. So this just smells like
but it reminds you of your childhood because you've been there before. They've never smelled Ruby before. It's
right. So this is their moment. Imagine off.
They want to smell
we all off with only one sense, feeling. Right? He gets to off with a scent too now. Right? So he's getting the full experience.
That's insane.
He's upgraded This is genius.
But how do they keep the scent alive? Because you know how like when you don't wash a article of clothing, it starts aging and it starts smelling like old, and it doesn't even have the smell anymore. What do they have, like chambers that they keep the germs alive in?
It's planned. It's planned obsolescence. She's got probably it's like a Netflix monthly plan.
So it's like,
do you have guys that every month you need to send them new panties? Be
Yeah,
like,
we
oh,
can
the
do that
scent.
for
It's like a
sure.
Glade
Sick.
plug-in.
you're like Apple. You know, you just keep releasing new iPhones. And it's the same shit over and
So,
over
but like
again.
theoretically, in your book you said, which by the way, guys, she has a book. Well, this is the coolest part. Also, is you're not like a piece of shit who's like, I figured out the formula and I'm gonna hoard it. You're like, I
Right.
figured out the formula, and honestly, like I know most people in this day and age can't read, but this is like. This is small enough to be able to absorb all the information you have
Right.
on how to do this.
In this book, do you give a full-blown business explanation of how to run your own business, or you just kind of give the background story?
I do both. So I give the background story, and my reason for writing the book is I want to inspire, it's mostly aimed at women because like you said, most men don't sell their dirty panties. They could. But I want to empower women to know that I didn't get into this business till I was 53. And so it's never too late.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I thought it was longer than that because you said 2019, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I
What,
thought-
what made you more? What makes you more money? This business or the when you were a social worker?
Oh, this business. Yeah,
Right.
I quit my social work job April of 2022.
Tell us about that.
Let me ask a follow-up Jew question. 1 year of social work. How long as Ruby Lynn did it take you to surpass that income of 1 year? Like 3 months in, where you're like, holy shit, I just made enough money I made in 1 year last year.
So the first year, so I call the first year from February 2020, I got in right before COVID hit, which is lucky.
Bro, the stimulus
Yeah.
check
Best
hit,
time.
and dudes are buying panties. They
They're
can't get
just
laid.
Going crazy, yeah.
They're just smelling
Just-
panties.
So the first
It's
year
crazy.
so in that 10 months or so, I was doing the panties and I was doing mostly live webcam. And so I didn't make as much as I did as a social worker that first 10 months. The second year doubled that and replaced the social work income. So that in 2022, when we got our taxes back, the accountant was like, okay, you've made double now. So at that point in March or April of 2022, I had doubled that income.
And then so you stopped doing social work.
Right. So from January to
Crazy, right?
January to
But that's including the social work income, or that's just like double?
no,
on its
I
own?
doubled what I made as a
And you were
social
hustling
worker.
the social work on the side too in the beginning.
Dude,
For
that
2.5
just goes to show.
years.
Damn, girl, you're not
Goes
playing.
to show, though, if you get offered enough money, you will abandon helping society.
Well, I was burned out too.
Yeah. You're like, you know what?
You also
I'm
did a
done
lot of
helping
years
people.
of social working, right?
Dude,
I
that
did.
must be like so exhausting because I read some of the shit that
Yeah.
you're like, you're in the trenches.
Yeah, I was. I worked.
Were you
with-
selling panties then
Yeah.
to like people that you were monitoring or no?
No. Nobody knew. I had a secret life. I had a secret life. Yeah. What kind of
Yo, my
question is
social
that,
worker,
bro?
my social
Girl,
worker
you
is my
feeling
panty
alright?
dealer.
She's over here trying to help kids in
I
their
worked
home
with a lot of
environment.
homeless people. They couldn't even afford
What's wrong
to
with
buy
up?
panties.
Imagine.
Well, yeah, homeless people, it's different, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's different type of social work. There's also social work where it's like right with kids, and then there's social
Right.
work.
I didn't work with kids.
Oh,
at
so you
all.
did homeless people.
Right. I worked
Okay.
with communicable disease, homelessness, that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool that you got to see that world too before. It's insane. It's crazy.
It
It's
was
crazy
a good
life.
job. I have no complaints. I just was burned out.
Crazy life.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
be very like I'm already a miserable person, right? So being exposed to that much
Yeah.
sadness, right, or harsh reality,
Mm-hmm.
it would really probably cripple my brain.
I became callous though in the end.
Yeah, I guess that probably happens. But
You know,
dude, I could never work in a
It's
hospital.
draining though. It's very draining.
It
I feel
is
like.
draining, but I have that personality where I am able to set my boundaries. So work is work from 8 to 5, and then once 5 o'clock comes around. Now, doesn't mean there weren't some clients on my caseload that kind of get in your heart a little more than others, but really, everybody was where they were at from their life choices.
That's true too.
And that
Personal
is
responsibility.
reality.
What would you say are the highlights of you starting this business?
The highlights are, financial freedom has been great. setting my own schedule, that kind of thing. But really, I think at the top is the people I meet and I come in contact with, whether it's my fans or it's peers. Meeting you guys, I mean, that is really what I enjoy.
The key, right, for you. Yeah, it's really cool. It's pretty crazy that you can really make money off of this because, you know, in some people's minds, they think it's so absurd that it's not attainable. You know what I mean? Like, people are kind of like, what the hell? You could sell panties and make $2,000 of each pair? Impossible.
Right, but
you know, and then
I've never sold any for $2,000, but I'm not opposed to it.
But think about it this way. I always tell people this, right? Imagine you put in, like my mom puts in 40 hours a week at her job, right? Imagine she quit tomorrow and started selling panties, but then devoted. It's not like people think it's like, oh, I'll just sell panties today for like 30 minutes. It's like, imagine you have to put in 40 hours into this new business.
Right.
And then that's how you become successful, right? A lot of people just be like, oh, my panties aren't selling, right? And you're like, but you didn't put in the 40 hours worth of work, right? You got to treat the panty job as a job. Like, it looks cute and fun and easy on the outside, but it's like, it's a job.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Like, how many hours a week are you wearing multiple panties at once? Like, because you can only in your book, it's 2 days for panties to marinate.
Right.
So are you rocking only 15 panties, or are you hiring?
No, 15. I wear them. All, it's all authentic. They get pictures.
Do you have a brand loyalty? What kind of underwear?
I don't. But I will tell you that in the beginning, I was like, oh, it's got to be Victoria's Secret. Dudes do not care what the brand is.
So can I just supply you with underwear?
Yes.
I'll literally send you a case of undies.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
like, literally, no joke. You won't have to spend $1 on underwear.
It's crazy.
But
15.
Getting back to your question, it is a full-time job. So I was working, 8 to 5. And then when I got off, quit that job, then the evening was live webcam shows, doing the panties, updating your whatever websites you're on. So literally I was putting in another 30 to 40 hours a week doing that. But you're right, you have to be dedicated. It is a job.
Right.
And I knew by month 2, I was like, so I did it February. I would say by April I was like, holy shit, I need an LLC. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, most people aren't able to handle the personal I don't think it's work ethic. It's more of like managing themselves, right? A lot of people are okay showing up for work at someone else's business. But when they're like, yo, you can have the freedom to do this all yourself. You have your 40 hours back. A lot of people can't enforce those rules that another boss would onto them.
Right.
So it's like that kind of discipline is super important when you're doing
it
your
is.
own
And you've got
project.
to stay focused on whatever I always say this, keep your eye on the prize. What's your end game? What do you want out of this in the end?
It's like the gym. You got to know what you're going in there for.
Right.
Dude, the gayest line I always say is aim for the stars, land on the moon, right?
Right.
Because even if you fall short, you still landed on the moon.
Exactly.
Right. Like, have insane goals. Because if you don't reach them, you at least reached a fucking awesome goal, right? Somehow.
If your goals aren't laughable to other people, then what are you doing?
Right.
Because my girlfriends were like, yeah, right, you're going to go shoot pro porn. Okay. I mean, like, they knew I had the personality to do it. But for 2 years, I said no to the girls' nights out. I said no to the weekends at the beach with the girlfriends and all that, because I was working and I had this vision.
Dude, and not only did you have it's not like you started a second job baking cookies, right? You started a second job that also comes with so much toxicity attached, right? Not only that, is like, if you started a second business baking cookies, your friends become supportive, or like they.
And it's really cool that you started at like, you started
53.
at 50.
Dude, yeah.
That's
53.
very that's a lot of respect, honestly. Hats off to you for that. That's really cool, because a lot of people like get it to 30 years old and they're like, oh, it's too late.
Right.
It's too late for me to start a business. I'm so tired. And it's like, yo, you did this at 50 years old. And
are you tired?
Oh, well, I mean, there are days I'm tired. Yeah. There are days that you're like, okay, I'm beating my head against the wall. I just recently got 2 Instagram accounts deleted, and it's like, that took a lot of time and money to build those. I have no one to blame but myself. But
it's emotionally taxing.
Oh, yeah. I went into a depression.
It's
I
like
kind of
losing a
played it
child.
off, but really, I secretly cried, because that was that's where you drive your business, is
People
from social
don't
media.
get that. Like, people are like, oh, you got your IG deleted. It's like, there's actual money attached to
yes.
these things.
Yeah.
Right? So when people cry, it's like, dude, it's like losing a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I played
Losing
it
a
off,
child's
but
cheaper.
secretly I was like, I'm still trying to recover mentally from that. But I lost my podcast Instagram, which made zero sense because it was...
Dude, sometimes they just
Yeah.
yank it. But that's the crazy part about our society. And which is wild that, you know, if people knew you were doing the quote unquote, I'll call it sex work, right?
it is.
While you were being a social worker, they would demonize you
Yeah.
probably in the same category as the people you're helping, right?
Yeah.
Our society tends to be like, yo,
Yeah.
the lady who's selling panties online and doing like webcam at night is helping these people become better members of society. Like, you know that shit won't fly.
Well, they can't separate
They
the
literally
two.
like fire police officers out
I
of
was
OnlyFans.
just gonna say, how
right?
many
Like
women
we
got fired?
can't separate the 2
Mm-hmm.
which is like, dude, doesn't everybody just fuck? Like we all fuck. So like, why is it so
Whether
taboo?
it's your fist or another person,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Fisting is crazy.
No, she's jerking off.
Oh. I was just I'm thinking in my head. I'm like,
Not fisting. Like,
yeah.
oh God.
Oh my God. I don't know why I took it there, but I was gonna say it just what made you motivated to do this though? Was there a motivation behind it?
My original motivation was money. So as a social worker, you don't make much money. I wanted to travel the world. I'm headed towards, an empty nest. I just wanted to really enjoy life.
Yeah.
And so that originally was my motivation when I saw that post in that Facebook group. But then, as it evolved, it became even, your motivation or your end focus sometimes changes.
Because the journey is just you're like more excited about the journey, and then you kind of shift it as
Exactly.
you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Right.
Well, right. And then though, like financially, it's not always like that, right? It's ups and downs.
Yes.
So like you really have to love what you do to withstand the downs, right? People just see the ups. They don't notice that.
That's
like,
being
you know?
a business owner, right? I'm
Right.
sure you've
Right.
experienced it as well.
So yeah, so you're motivated probably by money in the beginning because you're like, whoa, look at this, my first little taste of this. But then you start experiencing, oh shit, lawyer fees, blah blah. As my business
Right.
grows, right? You're like, oh fuck, it's like,
Yep.
Were you married during this time?
I am.
You are married right now, currently.
dude,
Wow.
she has what, 5 kids?
Yeah,
5
kids.
kids, 7 grandkids.
Grandkid number 10 is going to be due in December.
All right, so luckily the
You know what I'm
family's
saying?
obviously sexually
Let's go.
free. They fucking. This
Well,
family's fucking.
I had a child disown me. So actually,
What?
yep.
Really?
That's
So
actually a crazy
one
story.
of my kids has disowned us. Yes, I haven't seen those grandkids since 2021.
How many grandkids in that family?
They have 3.
Oh wow.
of
Okay.
the soon to be 10, but yeah, so that was hard, and it's a whole longer story than
Right.
we have or I want to share, but yeah, that's been really hard, and I grieve that like a death.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean,
But
it's
also-
his family.
I had to set a boundary and say, you're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to treat me this way. And you know what? I'm 50 something years old. And why does this surprise you? I raised you. I was always very sexually open with my kids, supportive. I wasn't the normal,
Dude.
June Cleaver down the street mom.
That doesn't even matter. And even if people are like, I'm embarrassed, it's like, that's what your parents are supposed to do to you. My mom embarrasses me in every restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if you're like, oh my God, like this is embarrassing, be like, yeah, welcome to being a child of a mom.
And it's
Right?
one of
Like,
your older kids.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, all my kids are older.
But what is the average age for like? What you had kids like
So,
right away? You banged them all out,
we have a 25-year-old to the oldest is 33.
Oh, okay.
Blended family.
Yeah, so kind of all happened right now. Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, it's insane, right? It's a lot of pressure too, to start a new business, to do something very risky like that, and to have a full-fledged family. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Dude,
So-
it's like I said, it's like if you opened up a bakery, everyone would embrace it, right? Everyone
That's
would be
right.
like, oh, Nana's cookie shop, blah, 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 right? But Nana's panty shop is hard.
Well,
It's
right,
hard-
because
it's hard.
society takes time to normalize things, right? So we normalize things, and sometimes we normalize things that are like they should have been normalized, and then
Yeah.
some things that get normalized where it's like, well, we shouldn't normalize.
Yeah,
it.
but for
So it's
her
like-
sake, it's a double-edged sword because if it's normalized, yes, she might bridge her relationships back with people because they're like, oh, this is accepted now. But if it's accepted now, it creates way more competition. So right now she's like the only granny panty like chick, right? So you kind of want it to be like not normalized for business wise,
Right,
because you're like,
the man
I'm the
side.
only drug dealer.
Correct.
Right.
But once there's more granny panties coming out into the woodworks, it's not going to be as lucrative.
Right. What sells better, thongs or granny panties?
Thongs.
Can you technically wear a thong and granny panties at the same time? Because
I
you
don't
kind of
have
get
that
them
much
covered.
juice, Kirill. To
Yeah, what are you
be
doing?
wearing them
Are you
all
like?
together.
Are you like? What's so this juice situation? Are you forcing yourself to?
The whole juice situation.
Are you? No, I'm like. Are you forcing yourself to what? Sweat a lot in these? Like, how do you get the juices in there?
Depends
Are you
on-
like just like, oh, I'm just gonna watch porn and get wet and be like, all right, there you go, my seal of approval, moving on.
Yeah, kind of. So every pair, I do a masturbation session in them to really soak them up. So that's included. They get 2-day wear, 1 masturbation, a set of pics, and mailed discreetly.
No batteries included.
Damn,
That's insane.
that's so cool. You should definitely.
That is crazy. That's a crazy process.
The problem with the
It is a
business, the only issue with the business is it's hard to scale because there's one vagina
Right.
and only 15 pairs of underwear a month because she's doing 2 days marination session.
Oh, man.
If we can concentrate your vagina juices into some sort of assembly line,
Well, you're already thinking full entrepreneurship over here, which is good.
Geez,
Right.
then we could do, what do you call it?
You should still
Franchise it. Let's franchise it.
yeah,
Well, you can open
should
up a
have a- you should
store,
have a-
granny
yeah.
panty,
The
you know,
granny panties.
in the mall.
dude. Like
Yeah.
you just come in, dude. Tell me if there was a store across the street from Victoria's Secret that sold the same panties but they were pre-worn, there would be a line down the block like it's a PlayStation 5 drop.
Crazy.
Like
Oh my
literally.
gosh.
What's the average sale? Like you said, because you're like, oh, 2,000, I'll take it. Since you were shocked by that number, what do you usually sell the panties for on average?
They start at $80 a pair.
Okay.
And then if you want add-ons, everything is extra. So
So if
you
I get
mentioned
fully loaded,
if you wanted no wiping, you wanted
I want no
maybe-
wiping.
You want no wiping, so that's like an extra $20.
No wiping means if you poop, you just pull the panties right
you
back
got
up.
it. Yep.
For how many days?
Dude,
2.
how much is that extra? I feel like I'm building a computer.
That's like $25.
$25 for
What
have an
about
itchy
you? How
butt?
do you feel about that? For $25, you're not
I
wiping
don't
for 2
get
days.
that request that often.
I think that one should be a
After
little
this
more. I'll be
episode-
honest with
I
you.
might, right?
Financial advice for you, I think you should increase it by like $50.
Right, that's mud butt for 2 days.
Yeah, because you got that mud butt for 2 days. We're gonna need to at least get 2 bills out of that one.
Yeah, and then you might
$20 not
catch a
enough.
fucking yeast infection or some sort of
No,
Oh
infection.
my gosh.
All right, so fully loaded, real quick. You don't wipe. You
They want a video. Say they want a video of the masturbation session.
Oh, wow.
They say they didn't want you to wipe. That's not really as common, but let's just say that
spec
the
it out.
video shipped. You're into it for $175.
Damn, if you could get $175, so that's $80 a day. That's $2,400 a month to just wear underwear. Bro, no one else is getting paid. Like all she's really doing is wearing underwear, masturbating, which she normally probably does
crazy.
anyways, right? You found a way to monetize your just every. You were like,
Right.
oh, I'm already doing this.
Right,
How do I
exactly.
just? Oh, $2,400. I just found it right here.
I have a panty story actually that I wanted
Oh,
to share
I
with
can't
you guys.
wait. I wanna
Did
hear
you
it.
have to send panties?
Hold on 1 second. Hold your horses. I'm just going to tell you right now. Basically, I was very young. I was about 9 years old. And I'm hanging out with my cousin. He's about 3 or 4 years older than me. And he has money all the time, right? And we grew up in Ukraine, and it was like pretty broke city. You know, it was
Right.
people don't have money. So like for you to get an allowance, like your dad either has to be super ultra rich or you just have to be doing something on the side. So I was like, how do you always have money? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then one day, my older cousin, which is a girl, comes to the house and she's like, where are my panties going?
I was just gonna say, I knew where this was going.
She's like, where are my panties going? So I have no clue. I'm young. I'm very naive. I have no idea what's going on. And my cousin comes up to me one day and he's like, yo, I think I'm in a little bit of trouble. I said, what happened? He's like, listen, I have this neighbor and he's in love with my sister.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and he asked me a weird request a couple times. And I said, what is it? And he goes, he asked me if I could steal a pair of panties from my sister. But he's a pretty cool dude. And I go, mm-hmm. And I'm like, so what do? You just steal it and give it to him? He's like, yeah, but he pays me.
Oh,
So
wow.
my younger cousin at that time was hustling panties.
He was a panty pimp.
He was a panty pimp, but he was pimping his sister out.
He should have
Which
cut
is
her
kind
in.
of crazy. Which is kind of crazy, right?
Did it end?
I also don't like him, really, because we didn't end off on.
How did it end? Did she freak out?
I don't know what happened. I think she found out and she
Wow.
like whipped him bad. But I think he still kept doing it because he was a little shithead.
Yeah.
He was a little shithead cousin. If you ever watch this, you should remember shithead. There's the story.
You know what's
And
crazy?
Everyone knows now.
You know what's nuts is that like is stealing a chick's panties. If I stole my girlfriend's panties and was selling them, it would literally probably break us up. But if I found out, if Esta's like, yo, I've been making $2,000 a month selling your underwear, I'd be like, yo, where are we going on vacation? Where are we going on vacation?
I mean,
Like I would be like, damn, my girl's smart. She managed to sell my underwear.
but what do you think about this situation? A little crazy, right? For the little brother to be selling.
Yeah.
That's a little
and
wild, right?
That's
yeah,
creepy.
with minors,
creepy.
like that
That shit's creepy.
Like,
feels
what are we
a little
doing?
icky to me.
Like,
yeah.
what are we doing? You know what I mean? And also, the sister doesn't know what's going on. He's over here
Right.
selling it to the neighbor that's watching her
Right.
from the side.
The
Like,
neighbor's a creep.
that's
the
weird.
neighbor's the bigger.
Definitely.
That's who you worry about.
And
The
he's
Yeah.
older, too. He was an older dude, from what I remember. Crazy shit. Yeah.
Definite creep.
Yeah, Ukrainians. No, I'm kidding. They're good people. But yeah, that's my story for panties. Wild, no?
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I don't know. Have you? Like, do I smell? I've smelled girls' underwear before. No, not my sister. Ew. I'm talking about the concept.
Would you
of,
sell your sister's panties?
Would I sell my sister's panties? If
you
I
needed some extra
if I
cash?
needed some money and we were in a village in Ukraine,
If you
probably.
were getting enough money, right?
Right, I'd be like,
His pops had money coming in, though, and they were all right. I don't know why he was pushing panties on the
because the
side.
pop's probably fucking selling the sisters, the daughter's underwear too.
Crazy. It's really mind-blowing how cool and how different and weird this whole thing is. Because it's like the feed pictures already alone are weird to me.
Yeah.
And then the fact that people are like, yo, wear these for 2 days. Like, here's an extra 50.
Yeah, but the feet pictures are weird because you're like, I don't find those sexy. Like a thong, I could at least be like, okay, right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna buy anything from a woman, I'd at least buy her underwear, right, from someone you like on the internet.
Crazy.
Like I wouldn't buy. What else is there left?
I
Like,
sell a
foot-
lot of pantyhose. I wear pantyhose.
Oh, okay. So you're wearing.
leggings. I sell leggings. I've had guys.
So you're making more money. You
Oh
could be
yeah,
layered.
I've had guys screenshot like an Instagram picture, message me on fans and say, I want those leggings. And so, that's $250 right there on a $20 pair of leggings I bought off Amazon. Yeah. So if they want the leggings in a video, yeah, that's $225 right there.
What was your music of choice when you were younger?
Music?
Yeah.
Oh, 80s rock.
80s rock?
Motley
on, bro.
Crue.
You like
Come
Motley
on,
Crue?
bro.
Ozzy. Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay, that's the vibe. Okay. I'm picturing it because I'm trying to
Def
attach.
Leppard,
I'm
yeah.
trying to attach everything together. You know what I mean?
I'm an 80s girl. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
She looks like a wild
Fire
child.
cut, by the way. Very nice haircut. Shout out to you go to a salon or like a
I
barbershop?
do.
He's a barber.
Yeah, I've had my hairdresser. I call her the hair master
Yeah,
because
she
it
kills
is really my brand, and it's so funny.
Do you
I've been
think if
with
you
her, like,
changed your
10 years.
hairstyle, people would freak out, or do you think it would turn other people on? Or do you wear wigs? Do you ever?
I
do...
know it would freak them out because I did wear a long-haired wig once on cam, and my viewers hated it.
You should be like,
hated it.
pay me to take this wig off.
Right? Let's monetize that.
Crazy. No, it's interesting. It's very very
Yeah.
it's very very cool. It's just mind blowing. It's just crazy how the world is coming to a place where we can monetize pretty much anything and everything.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you're broke, we don't really have sympathy for you because we got, you were a social worker with 5 kids, hustling that, feeding everybody, and then you're like, yo, listen, let's start selling panties, and you're still feeding everybody onto this day.
And Val, to that end, I've had many single mom friends who are struggling to make it. And I'm like, let's get you on cam. Let's get you selling panties. I mean, if you don't want a face-to-face thing, let's get you signed up for a sexting app. They don't want to do it.
Wait, what's the sexting app? Because that's just, I think the barrier for entry for a lot of people is, oh my God, someone's going to recognize me.
And if you do it, if you put your face on the internet, someone will find out someday.
Yeah.
I mean,
how
that's
fast
a
did someone find out that you were doing this?
about a year and a half.
Well, that's
You kept it secret for a little while?
So the only people that knew up until we were outed to our kids were like my two very best friends. That was it.
They were the ones that blew up your spot?
No, they didn't actually. A school friend of one of my boys saw an ad on Hub,
Oh my God.
screenshot it, and was like, sent it to all the kids and said, "Do you know what your parents are doing?"
Do you know what's the fucked up part about that? Is that dude had to be on So
Right.
he's passing judgment while consuming
Well,
the
he's a young
content.
kid, right? He's a
the
young kid.
content.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No,
How old
it's-
was this kid when he did this?
It's the age of her sons, she
like
said.
25.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
Dude,
already-
you're going to try to call someone out. You're like,
Yeah.
that's like walking in a 7-Eleven and yelling at the guy for working at 7-Eleven. But like, bro, you're in here. You're in here with me.
Right.
Like, what a snitch. What a little fucking bitch. I hate people like that.
Kirill is not having it.
Dude, that's bullshit.
I mean-
because that, like, it hurts someone's, like,
Yeah.
what's the point of that? Like, what
Right.
do you get out
Yeah,
of
because
trying
you're
to, like,
ruining,
di-
because you're making somebody's situation like way worse. Because
Yeah, so they can
people
feel
love
better.
to watch. I guess it's a human thing, right? People kind of love to see other people kind of like riffle and battle. And
Right.
No, because they
Right.
go, it's so easy. She's doing this. I'm jealous. So let me knock her
Yeah,
down a
that can
peg,
be.
right? Like, ugh, I'm struggling to make ends
Well,
meet.
it's a shock factor too. To them, it's like, yo, I
Yeah.
have such juicy information.
I think
let
it's
me
the shock
let me blow
factor in
everything
that
up because they're
situation.
like, I'll be the one that they'll talk
Bro,
about.
just
'Cause
staying quiet and jerk off to your fucking friend's mom.
And how
Literally.
big is the town that you're originally from? Like where, let's say, this kid was going to school. Like, it's like a small suburban town.
Yeah, I would say smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not
It's a
much to talk
suburb
about.
of
There's not much
Portland.
going on. So a kid like
Right.
that probably wants a little bit of attention. He wanted
Right.
to make a joke, and it's, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but people are low quality like that.
You
when
know,
it comes,
or maybe
you know?
he thought they already knew. I don't know.
Oh, possibly.
Hard
but
to
listen,
say.
at the end of the
Bro, it's
day,
just
right?
nuts to be like, hey, by the way, so I was on Pornhub and I saw your mom. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Be like, let's go back to the part where you were on and decided to text me.
The world is changing, and people are
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to realize the hard way. You know, it's just there's different things being incorporated, and there's just a lot of just after the phone came out, and after all the apps and everything that's happening, and just how things are politically are going on right now. I just feel like people are not ready to embrace all of that at the same time, and I feel like it's just taking time.
People don't like seeing someone
Do something that they
do better and have a leg up, right? Like, oh, well, I didn't have that back in the day, right? She didn't have that back in the day. She's a living example. First of all, I can barely teach, my mom sometimes some shit on the computer, right? And she literally had to restart a career that exists mainly for young people.
Right.
Right? Like this is when you hear camming, right? And you hear panty selling and you hear sex work, no one goes, "Oh yeah, 56-year-old woman," right? They instantly assume 19-year-old chick, college, cams, right? So she's entering a world where it's a young man's game, not only just like visually, but it's also like technologically, right? Like these kids, like
I've
I feel out
learned
of
so
touch
much.
with
Oh my
TikTok.
gosh.
you have to be ahead of the curve.
Oh, yeah.
What took you from the first time around when you were Catalina, where it was like a failed experiment or whatever you want to call it, and then the rebranding where you came back as Ruby Lynne? What was the difference? Because I think, a lot of people get discouraged,
Right.
and very rarely go back. On what was the thing?
The difference was the second time I saw it as a business and I treated it as a business. And so the first time I would just take some crappy cell phone pictures of the panties and that kind of thing. The second time I had a game plan, and it was like, no, we're going to take better quality, that, $1,000 digital camera I have sitting in there. I handed it to my partner and I'm like, you need to figure this camera out, because we're going to take some rockin' pictures. I'm going to, upgrade everything as far as what, things look like and that whole thing. And so the second time I came into it as a business.
Right, but how do you... Okay, so you figured out the behind-the-scenes shit. You're like, all right, we're going to upgrade this, the quality of everything.
Right.
We have a flow. You're a social worker with zero social media presence. How
Right.
do you find fans? Because a lot of people call me, and go, Kirill, like I said, I want to sell foot photos. I'm like, you can make a lot of money. But how the fuck is anyone going to care about your feet, right? Like, where's your audience?
Right.
Are you going to be telling your friends and family? No, because you're too embarrassed. So where are you going to all of a sudden find this magical, like, honey hole?
So there's websites. Like I signed up on Scented Pansy is what it's called, which
Scented
is
Panties?
Scented Pansy as in flower.
And that's where what? It's like an eBay for...
Yeah. It kind of is. It's really just a site. You pay $10 a month. You can list your goods there. You can list videos, whatever. And then you arrange payment with the buyer. So Cash App, Venmo, that kind of thing.
But I'm assuming it's like a pool where people just look through and find you, right?
Yes.
Like, because once again, unless you're driving those eyes yourself,
right,
you had to enter this world and just be one of the many sellers of stuff. So
what I was depending on was the other buyers that are already there are going to see your profile.
Right. You're
and then I was promoting it through my cam shows too. You can buy my panties here and there. Now, fast forward to fall of 21, I hired a specific coach for social media and OnlyFans. So I hired someone for their knowledge.
And you just absorbed it, or they worked for you for?
No, they didn't work for me. I paid them a fee.
It was like a mentorship.
Yeah.
How long was the mentorship?
So initially, it was 1 year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And she coached you what, weekly, daily, or like you ran everything by her, or she gave you notes and was like, "Here's what you gotta."
All the above.
Can you?
All the above.
Can you share some secrets? Can you tell me some things you've learned that are like, wow, like this will at least get somebody?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I learned in the beginning was Instagram is the cash cow. Right. And so your business is going to come from Instagram, some from Twitter, but really Instagram is where you're hitting all the, I would say, Joe Blow who lives down the street,
right,
who might have that. And so from her, I learned about how to track algorithms, how to pose for pictures even. She critiqued pictures of mine and was like, why is your arm by here? You need your arm up here. And so just those techniques that I had no idea about.
Can I ask you something? This pertains to this question and the general aspect of what you did. Mm-hmm. As a woman at your age, how did you build that confidence?
I've always had confidence.
But I'm saying in general, you didn't have anything where you were kind of like doubting yourself, or certain pictures were coming out and you kind of were like, oh my God, do I look good here? Do I not look good here?
I doubt myself every day.
But I'm saying, imagine a female of your age is listening to this podcast and she has, insecurities or stuff like that, because as men and women age, we all get older, our skin gets wrinklier, we get tired or whatever it may be. How do you build that force to wake up every day and to be like, I'm beautiful and I'm this and I'm that? How did you mentally do that every day? Or is it just something that you originally had? I
kind of originally had that view. Aging, I've always been very confident, kind of out there. I would say, as you keep going, the fun thing to find out is that all those things that you think are imperfections, somebody else loves.
Hell yeah, Val. That's what I said.
And they're going to pay you for it. And so for me, that was really eye-opening because I didn't have any prior history in the adult industry, but coming into it to see like the bigger girls and these huge fan bases, and that was very refreshing because as females, I think we're always focused on our weight, and how we look and stuff. There is a fan for you no matter who you are or what you look like.
Just like they say in business, there's a customer for...
Yes.
There's a buyer for anything. Yeah.
Right, and the more niche you could be...
Right.
The more you're the standout in that industry. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to also set an example for older women specifically that you don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I have scars and stretch marks and I have all that.
Right, but you still fuck, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So does that help with the confidence, is knowing that I'm still getting piped out a few times a week, right? Versus maybe my parents don't fuck a lot and maybe my mom doesn't always feel as sexy, or my dad, right? Like I always think that as long as I'm getting laid, that all right, I'm chilling, right? Is the minute when sex dries up for me where I'm like, oh man, I gotta start.
What's wrong?
What's wrong, right?
I always had a very robust sex life, though. Always. My partner and I, were active in the swingers community for 15 years. And so that was our kink, is to be watched. Well, now we get paid for it.
And you've been married with the same person for how long?
15 years.
Wow, that's long. And you guys been swinging since the beginning of the marriage?
Pretty much, yep. That was a requirement of mine.
Well, right, because obviously you left another marriage. She had kids. And so the new guy, she was like, I have my new freedom. Like, why would I build these walls that society made me adhere to when I first got married, right? Like, go. Like, I'm going to do this. Yeah,
that was one of my checklists.
How'd you find him?
Is he a fan? through the kids. Through the kids knew each other.
They probably regret that.
I don't know. It's been a good life, raising 5 teenagers. It was like, if we still like each other when we get them all. Right.
Who do you think was fucking more, you or the teenagers?
I think us.
Right. And they had a 5-man advantage.
You got to understand, confidence gets built through experience, right? So, like, it's hard for some teenagers to break out of that.
Yeah.
Because, most teenagers don't experience enough, and they kind of get stuck in a shell, and then little by little they get there. So you probably were eccentric as soon as you were a teenager and you were ready to go. You know? And you just kept building. And then to you, it's like it's nothing, but to them maybe it was just and also I noticed that the teenagers of parents that are very confident and very out there, most teenagers are usually opposite for some reason.
Oh.
I've noticed that psychologically, even in some of my friends, when their parents are like very strong and out there and they're communicative and they just talk to everyone. I noticed that the teenagers take the backseat more.
Why, you think? Because it's hard to live in their shadow sometimes?
I think so, yeah.
Right? If like, you've seen like dads, I guess, or moms.
I've seen dads that are very out there, and I've seen the kids be a little more shy.
Gotcha.
And then I've seen I'm not
sure. I'd rather talk to you than your kids. Right? So
it depends, right? It depends. You never met her kid, so it's kind of...
Doesn't matter. Her kid, unless her kids are doing something way more crazier than selling their panties, like, she's got better stories, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Right? So at the end of the day,
it's
like, it's hard living underneath the shadow of, like, an eccentric parent. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
If I had kids, these kids would be fucking like... You wouldn't be able to raise them, first of all, because there's so many things that I've done that...
Yeah, it's interesting.
Was it like, were you like a slutty mom? Were you like embarrassed? Like, did your kids be like, Mom, put on a different outfit, please?
No. When I was raising them,
you were respectful.
I was obese. I was
really?
Very overweight. Yeah, I was 125, 150 pounds maybe. Bigger than I am now.
Oh, I thought you meant 150, period.
I was about to say, that's not obese.
I was like...
I was like, I was probably at least 100 pounds heavier than I am these days.
Oh, wow.
When I was raising my kids.
So you crushed it too. You lost a lot of weight also.
I have.
At what age did you lose
when she got single?
I was 38 when I lost my weight.
It's crazy. You see, this is...
Were you already divorced?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, that's just crazy revenge,
wasn't.
right?
I was in an abusive marriage, though, to my kids' dad. And so I had gained a bunch of weight, And
because of
I lost
depression and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost it, and I got rid of him, too.
Yeah. You trimmed all the fat.
I did.
Dude.
But let me tell you, this is very cool this is cool because a lot of people lose hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, a lot of people get to 25, 26, 28, 35, and they start, like, getting in their heads like, oh, it's too late. It's this.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Do you feel that way? I feel that way a lot of times.
But speaking to her makes me realize, like...
Yeah. In 16 years, I'll be 56, and I could restart my life. Or whatever. You started at 53, right? Right. So you could be like... It's kind of that, as gay as this sounds, and I use the word gay, obviously not implying whatever. But whatever. As gay as this sounds, like that Jim Carrey quote. You ever heard that quote he told about his dad? His dad was an accountant, and his dad got fired for being an accountant.
Oh.
And he was an accountant his whole life. And he goes, you can fail at something you hate, so why not try failing at something you love?
You love, yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So it's kind of these things where it's like,
it's a good quote.
People should take more risks, because the beauty of at least our society in America is like, look, we're fucked up. We have a lot of fucked up shit, but we do have the ability to to pivot.
You can reinvent your life at any time and at any age.
Would you say that being in social work, that dealing with the outliers of society that they were dealt a bad hand, or could they have at least? Do you look at people like, oh, they're just lazy, right? Or like, because I can do all this, so like you go and sell your panties and you can get out of these shitty situations. Or is it just like, all right, these people are just crazy and they're abandoned and that's it? Like, what is... Because you pulled yourself up.
Because she's going to answer that with a social worker brain right now.
Well,
I think.
so I see both sides of it.
Right.
That's a social work.
Yeah.
I know. I knew you would.
I think one of the frustrating things for me was to see people use their disability as an excuse not to work.
Victim.
Yeah, you know, and so I'm stuck on disability. You know, I only get $800 a month because this happened. So my view was there is a job that you can do out there.
Yeah, sell your fucking shoes.
Well, just anything. I mean, there's call center work online, you know.
Cut hair,
if you can't leave your home because you're disabled, and it's, you know, there's things you can do online to make money.
Dude, yeah.
The population I was dealing with, there were some people that were just dealt a bad hand. You know, I had a client who was an ex full service sex worker who got, you know, the shit beat out of her and cracked all of her neck bones. And you know, she couldn't even move. I mean, just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of sucks, you know, and she's not a lot of pain. But then I also have the people that are like, you know, well,
escaping
I can't
reality.
Work because
Dude,
of
if there's
X,
a Walmart door greeter working, right? You could be working, right?
Don't use that word.
Yeah, he's out of his mind a little bit. But he means it in a good way.
But yeah, you know, it's the same kind of concept. It's like there's something you could be doing.
Do you personally think? I'm not sure if you see the way I do because I'm an immigrant, so it's a little different for me. Mm-hmm. But do you feel
illegal immigrant?
Do you feel yes? Do you feel that it's an American thing? That you feel like the way the country's set up, it gives you that kind of like, oh, it's okay to be a victim, or it's fine, we'll pay for it, like we'll hold you over. Do you think that can become something that infects the people to think this way? To like, because you see how you said that you work 16-hour days, you don't give excuses to anybody. You have 5 kids. You don't say no to anything. You hustle. You put in the pain. And, you know, you're a motivating factor in a sense where you start things at an age where people are scared to even make a move.
Starting to stop things.
Right.
And the fact that you're doing this, I'm just asking you because I'm intrigued and I'm interested to hear you explain to me, why do you think people create such, I don't know, excuses and victim ways of looking at stuff? Like, what do you think it's just something that's like being passed around in this country? Do you think it's the media? Like, what do you think it may be?
I think it's probably a little bit of all of that.
Yeah.
Because you are right. I mean, the people that I know that weren't born in this country that came here, you know, work their asses off and they're very focused and, you know, don't take no for an answer. And they're going to figure out a way to get from A to B, whatever their goal is. But you're right. I think it has been made easy here.
I think it's become a personality type.
It's like you got sick. Yeah. Here's $500 for taking off for 3 days.
Tell me what's a lot easier, to accept personal responsibility for your failure or to blame somebody else.
Right.
Blame somebody else.
Right. Most people, right? It happens all the time. I'll be in the car with Estee and she'll make a jerky movement and I'll be like, dude, chill out. She's like, no, that guy in front of me. And it's like, dude, we all know you're the one who was the bad driver in that situation. But it's a lot easier to just blame that asshole,
the finger, yeah,
right, than it is to accept personal responsibility in something that doesn't even matter, right? Like, we're just in the car, right? Why not just be like, oh, yeah, my bad, right? But we all go like, this fucking asshole just in front of me. We all pass that kind of blame. We just, at some point, accept personal responsibility for the rest of our situations, hopefully. But a lot of people just like to go like, well, I don't have this because look at all these obstacles. Where she goes, I don't have this because of these obstacles. Let me jump over them.
Because you could have came up with 10,000
reasons not to.
You could have came out with literally like 20,000 reasons as to why things will fail and why it won't work.
Here's number one. Number one, if someone told you you're going to lose a child.
Right.
Yeah, which
Right?
is insane.
Like,
Yeah.
like think about those kind of sacrifices
Yeah.
to like, even in
Right.
those kind of situations, just to face that adversity, to be like, okay, well, then I'm not true to who I am. So I'll just resent my family if I'm once again in a controlling relationship. You just
Right.
left one.
Right.
And you're like, this is my path. And my job was to birth these good kids. And you know what? It's their world to live in now. And, you know, I mean,
Crazy.
obviously I'm oversimplifying, I'm assuming. But
And I think if you have the personality where you can accept responsibility for things, like it changes your world. Here's a prime example. I lost my second main Instagram account. I could sit here and be like, Instagram hates sex workers and they're discriminating against me. No, you know what? It's my own freaking fault.
Correct.
I posted something that was, I'd posted several videos that were
Too much.
a little risky, and I knew that. I did it to myself.
Right, there's
right,
rules
but
to
both
everything.
can be true. They can hate you, and you can be at fault. But as
you
long
know
as
what
you
I
get
mean?
back up,
But you gotta
have
play
to.
the
I'm
game.
not going to
But you
waste
gotta play the
time
game.
sitting here
Yeah.
crying about it. What
Yeah.
I do, turn around and made another damn account.
Correct.
To try to start building it right away.
You gotta play the game.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. You can't quit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And no matter how much you fail, you just gotta keep going. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what people can't get over that, because it's a mixture of things. You know. It's,
You know, the crazy part is if you did anything else in your life, it would be just as successful. I think it pertains to the person, right? You just happen to choose. You know, my biggest problem is I handicap myself a lot.
Okay.
Is like I like to do things that make me happy, which aren't necessarily the things that will help me.
you
Right.
I
push the envelope
Yeah.
for the sake of humor or for myself, because I don't. That's the last thing I have that's like truly me, is like my sense of humor, right? So like it's crazy that you chose to handicap yourself, knowing that this lifestyle comes with all this shit,
Yeah.
versus being like, dude, if you ran a cookie shop, I guarantee you, I keep going back to that, but that work ethic and that desire to, I don't know how this works, I'm gonna hire someone to help me, and all this shit. You know, the smartest people in the room are usually the ones who know how to hire the
Yes.
smartest people in the room, right?
Exactly.
Is like, I think you would have just been as successful at anything you tried to do.
Well, thank you.
Right. Which is kind of dope that you chose to do something that made you, ostracized.
I'm
from a
just
certain
very
sect.
driven. I'm very focused, very driven. I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday. I set these goals for myself that are usually pretty high, but even when I attain those goals, then I'm setting higher goals. Like I'm never complacent to just be, which can be a bad thing sometimes because I'm always striving for the next thing.
But it keeps you alive.
It does. And
Right.
if
She's also, you missed out on how many years of like expression,
Yeah,
right? And being
a
yourself,
lot.
being like,
a lot.
in an abusive relationship,
That's a good point.
right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think you're going to do in 10 years? I mean, obviously you should sell panties for the rest of your life, right? Because you're going to have lifelong fans. Somebody out there is going to want a 85-year-old woman's. Like,
Cool.
are you still going to be wet? Are you gonna be,
I am a self-proclaimed America's hottest gilf. If you go to my OnlyFans, that's what it says.
gonna say, are you still gonna be wet?
do you have
self-proclaimed.
like period sales? Are you like, yo, like you should have a calendar where
Dude,
people are like,
I'm 56.
Yeah, what do you-
Those
Oh,
days
I'm
are
retarded.
like
The question is that.
I
that's
don't know
like
anything.
12
Some shit I
years
would
ago.
yeah, I'm sure I got a lot to learn. My girlfriend's getting up there. When do women stop having periods?
Usually around 50.
Nice.
Yeah, around 50.
Can I ask you something? I don't know how.
You men are so dumb. Sorry that you probably sell period underwear, and I'd be
Probably.
like, oh sweet.
I get these guys with the
Still-
breeding fetish, and I'm like, really? I'm 56. You couldn't breed me if you rode me for 5 days. Okay.
Jesus, that
So
sounds
good.
so primal.
That's the shame. Is like the perfect woman starts at 50, right? Where you don't have to pull out. Like at that point, it's like we're all close to death anyway. So who cares about STDs? Like you're just kind of like the end of your life seems so much more free.
Yeah, but her,
I'm not saying
her
you're-
life sounds like
Awesome.
It's the best start to a life. Almost.
She's
like,
sitting right now in
Yeah.
panties making money. I'm sitting in panties.
It's like being around a person like this. Like you get excited because you're like, damn, there's so much to look forward to. She's making you feel like you're looking forward to way more things. And then most people they're like 30 years old are like, oh man.
Well,
like,
and you
I hate
asked
my
me
job
in
and I hate
10
this.
years, what I want to do. I want to coach women. I want to help them build what I've been able to build and use that knowledge. I did a test run recently on a friend of mine who's in the industry. She lives close to me. And she has an bands and just not making any money, like top 10%, maybe 50, I don't know what her number was. And so I said, you come over on Thursday morning for 2 hours. I'm going to sit here. You're going to be my test subject. I'm going to tell you some techniques to use. Within 2 days, she was in top 6%.
Oh,
That's
wow.
nuts.
Yeah. Just using the few things I ask her. And so I want to be able to share my knowledge. You know, I want to empower people to live authentically. You know,
That's hard.
it is.
It's hard
Because
to...
they let the outside noise get to them.
Also, some people's authentic is a little.
Yeah, there's
little
some
crazy.
some people shouldn't be authentic,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
I think you are right on the perfect line of authenticity.
Well, thank you.
I feel like there's some people that are kind of like, because sometimes I let my mind think like that because I'm like, it's healthy. Like, let's be authentic. But then I'll think about some people are a little wild, bro. Like, their authentic is...
Give me an example. Give me an example, though. Val.
Like, give me a, like, you know, like when you're being authentic and you, I don't know, like, I don't want to make it sound crazy, but you go to the kids' park. You know what I mean? To them, that's authentic in their head. But I'm like, my brother, like, stay out of the kids' park. You know, you're 40 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's
Stop buying panties.
That's a little too far authentic.
That needs mental health.
But you see, but it's so crazy, right?
Right.
How everything gets judged.
Right.
And then there's people that will sit there and be like, well, that's something he's born with, and then you shouldn't judge him. And there's just so many back and forths with authenticity, right?
Right.
And it's just hard. It's hard to.
I see what you're talking about.
It's hard to dial in on what's good authentic and what's bad.
Right.
Right. So, but I think
True.
I think you're in a good spot here.
Thank you.
Right.
Bro, I'm jealous.
It's.
I'm very envious because it's just such a cool, like, I want to be that cool at 56 and just exist, right? I think I'm looking for peace. Do you have peace?
I do. I do have peace. I have to make myself have peace, though, because like I said, I'm so driven that every time I reach a goal, then I set this another big goal. And so I'm always...
Do you celebrate the wins?
I do celebrate the wins. I do. Not as often as I should.
I don't know how to celebrate my wins because I feel like they're not good enough.
I feel like I've celebrated the wins like on large scale twice. So I took the reason I got into this is I wanted travel money. I want to travel the world. I'm a travel freak. So that's why I started selling the panties. To make extra money, I wanted to go to the UK and travel the UK by train. So I made that happen March of 2022.
How cool was it? Did you sleep in the car?
No, we just took the
stopped
train
along?
from place to place. And then last April, I bought my dream car. So I gave notice at my social work job.
You said, fuck
Took
yeah.
a day off and went and bought my dream car.
What kind of car?
I have a little red Mercedes convertible SLK 300.
Wow.
What year?
2016.
I just got a 1985 380 SL red.
Cool.
Yeah.
There it is.
So
Damn. Okay.
that was,
Maybe
I did
I'm on the
celebrate
same
my
path
wins.
here.
Yeah.
I should start selling panties. Have you ever met
You
the
should start
fans?
selling yarmulke hat, like
used yarmulkes?
Yeah, you got to wear.
The
a
problem is
yarmulke.
then I got to raise money for Israel with them. Like, you can't do anything as a Jew right now without having to give to charity,
Listen, it's okay.
right?
Right.
And as a Jew, I really don't want to give to charity.
Write it off.
I want to keep the money.
Bro, you were having some accounting conversations today. You
I'm
can
gonna
write off
start-
some good
Some
charity.
used yarmulkes?
My brother, trust me.
You guys want me to not wipe in here?
Listen,
Do you meet these fans? Have you met these fans? I know you're swingers. Have you ever fucked a fan?
I have done fuck a fan once. Yes.
Wow. As a contest, or you just kind of
Nope.
like, you were like so
it was
attractive?
a fan who had spent a significant amount of money.
Damn. To meet you, hang out with you, or just for the panties, and you're like, oh,
He
the
just
bonuses.
spent a significant amount of money because he liked me, and he happened to be coming out towards Portland, and so, yep, I had him sign paperwork, and we shot a scene.
Dude, that's so sick. And you what?
And
for your
became
OnlyFans?
friends,
For your
and-
OnlyFans and shit?
Yeah.
So is it hard to become friends afterwards and be like, oh, I got to charge this guy? Now you're friends.
Oh no,
You have no problem.
I always have my eye on the prize.
Right. That's the best. It's like, that's the coolest thing about buying panties. It's like, I know you're sweet and I know you play a character online as well. Like, it's an exaggerated niceness, I'm guessing. But it's like dudes fall in love with you probably the same way the strippers, right? Where it's like they're in love, but you're like, all right, I'll play the part, but.
I'm pretty much the same person as Ruby and as who I am in real life, I'm pretty much the same person. I don't really play.
So you don't really have a narrative with these fans where they're not like, oh, she's like my girlfriend online or blah, blah. Or they're like, no, like she's married. I watch her fuck her.
A lot of them don't know I'm married because I promote myself solo.
Damn.
But
wish
if
I had
you
a
want me to
vagina.
be your online girlfriend, I'm it. I sell
You
a
don't have to
girlfriend
pull out?
experience. I sell that.
What's the girlfriend experience?
So they get my real number. They, I have a second phone. They get my number. It's good morning text, good night, text throughout the day.
Can you just give me those just so I feel good about my life? I have your number already.
You
Can
already
I just
have
get,
my number.
Can I just get a good morning text and a good night? I'd be like, oh.
It's crazy. People, but it's interesting how
People
it
pay
all
for that
works.
kind of love too, right? They just
Mm-hmm.
don't want to they don't want to just come to you. They want to be like, good morning, and like,
Mm-hmm.
people are looking to be loved, and
Right.
I pay for love.
I'm the type that it's hard for me, right, to wear something fake.
What do you
Meaning, like for me to like wear a fake pair of jeans or wear, you know what I'm saying? If it's not from the actual company.
Okay.
It's just interesting to me that people, because it's not real, right? You're paying for it. Because I know it's real
yeah.
in a sense where you're being like, hey, I know you're being genuine. You're a good person. And
It's like buying a fake Louis.
right. To me,
Yeah.
it's like, you're buying a fake girlfriend. Like, really? Are you really enjoying that, bro? Like, that's kind of weird to me.
I
That
think
trips
it's like
me out.
I think it's like the human experience, right? As long as I'm getting that look, I pay for.
You think it's
I
desperation?
pay for all love. We all pay for love, just indirectly, or like I buy Estee dinner, right? Or I pay for rent, or I do like my life. It's hard to be an
Well,
adult
at what
and
point
not
do
have
you test
expenses.
if it's genuine or not? Outside of you paying for dinners and stuff like that. Like,
I mean, do you want me to tell you? You know what's crazy?
What's the reciprocation?
Let me ask you a crazy question. Most relationships outside of infidelity, I'm gonna guarantee you break up because of money, right? A certain lifestyle was expected. If I suddenly lose my job, me not having money becomes a problem in our relationship. It'll happen in any relationship, right? So we are bound by love, but Estee and I are also bound by our financial situation.
Correct.
Right? So she could dump me if I stop making money. She can love me so long until
do you
she's
think-
like,
but-
stop being a bum, get off your feet.
But do you
get
think
off your
that has
ass."
something to do with nature in a sense where like you as a man you have to serve that, or do you think that that's just
It
like
could go the other way. If Estee loses her job and stops contributing to our relationship, I'll be like, yo, bro, like, why are we, this isn't fair.
At what point in the relationship do you think somebody can hold you over or them hold you over? Is there like a time slot on that? Like, some
do you
people, like, some men will lose their job and the woman has to step in and be like, yo, I got your
Right,
back.
right.
And then 2 years pass by, he finally gets back on his feet. Now he has a sick business and he's like, yo, I got you. And then it's like, at what
I
point
mean,
do
it
you
just
think the
depends
cutoff
how long
is?
that love is, right? But like, if I pay you for the girlfriend experience, every time she sends a good morning to me, it's not like I get billed on Venmo. The payment
Right.
happened.
Right.
So
You're
now
saying he's
I'm
not
already
committed?
lost in the sauce. I've already got, like, now it's just, dude, it's the
Meaning
same thing.
you're paying basically for no headache in a sense of like you have nothing, you don't have to
With her?
commit yourself, or you don't have to like,
No, I'm just saying it's fine. It's still a financial transaction with Estee.
transaction.
It's Estee and I have a transactional relationship. It's a transaction with love and finances. Hers is just finances, but to the other guy, it's love. To her, it's work, but he doesn't care as long as he's getting the
Right.
love, right?
I'm
It's
just
like when you go
trying
to a
to
strip
understand
club
the logic,
and buying
yeah.
a lap dance, you know she's not into
They're
you.
buying my time is what it
Right.
is. They're paying for my time.
right.
Like
Okay, cool.
we all pay to be loved one way or another.
Yeah.
And guess what? We get stop being loved very fast once we stop paying.
Most of the time. Yeah, for sure.
I think someone said that. Like, I think it was like Chris Rock's mother once said, "It's like a broke man is like a broke hand. Can't do nothing with it."
Yeah, I guess. I guess, right? It just depends. It depends on the circumstance.
Yeah.
I've heard of different situations,
But it's crazy. I think it boils down to, like, I always make a joke. I have no sympathy for broke women because I'm like, you could just go out and sell some pussy, right? The value of pussy is way higher than the value of dick. So I'm like, it's hard for me to conceptualize a broke woman. But then I also have no respect for broke men because I'm like, you're a dude. Get your shit together. Maybe I just don't like broke people.
No, I think you just don't like lazy people. It's a little different.
Yeah. I
It goes back
agree.
to that
Lazy.
not changing your situation concept, right? If
Yeah.
you're
Take
broke,
accountability.
bro,
Yeah.
you're not broke enough or desperate enough if you aren't selling.
Correct. Just be accountable. Just, wake up and do what you got to do.
I have a low tolerance for excuses because, I have done things that are incredibly hard. I raised 3 kids by myself, working 2 jobs, you know. Yeah, it's like if you want something fucking bad enough,
Right.
you will figure out a way to get it.
Correct.
I worked at my kids' school during the day, and I worked as a bartender 3 nights a week.
Right.
And yeah, I had to shuffle my kids. I had girlfriends that would watch them one night so that I could work and the other. But, the alternative was my house was going to go into foreclosure.
You should be allowed to bitch. You should be allowed to complain.
No.
But you should be, because you put in the work, right? It's the people that don't
Correct.
put in the work. Like I want to offer you assistance, right? Like I want to be like, that's a
I have
mother.
sympathy for people that try hard.
Right.
Because then I'm like,
Yeah.
because then I go,
Right.
okay, the system might be fucked up in this scenario if she's not making enough, or so, like,
Because
but
the cards are dealt to you and you're still facing the hand, right? So it's like, I will sympathize with you because I'm like, yo, this person is trying really hard and it's not working. But if the person that's sitting around and kind of always coming up with
has an
circumstances,
excuse for everything.
So it's
yeah.
like, yo, homie, I'm sorry.
I can't work 2 jobs because I'd be too tired.
Right, you're
well,
beat,
hell
like-
yeah, I was dragging ass, but you gotta
right,
make it work.
right. I'd rather be tired than stressed,
Yeah.
right? Because stress eats me alive. Stress keeps me up at night, but
Right.
I'd rather be exhausted. Because at least there's this primal thing in exhaustion. Like when we go to the warehouse in Mexico and we work 12-hour days and do 25,000 steps, I am exhausted. But it's like a weird farmer's rewarding exhaustion where you're
right.
like, the meal I eat, I earned, right? Like everything today felt good. Even
I
though
love
I was
that
tired,
feeling.
right?
I
Best feeling.
thrive on that
But
feeling.
imagine
best.
not going to the warehouse. I'd be sitting at home here, stressed about what's going on in that warehouse, and that would be way more damage for me.
I think it's great. I think it's great to be that way because to me, even when I just moved to LA and I'm not as busy as I was in New York, and I'm just walking, pacing back and forth. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, why am I not using this 1 hour to do something?
Right.
And there's other people that are, I'll sell them. And there's other people that are sitting around and they're like, oh, it's fine. I'll just play video games or I'll do this or I'll
Right.
do that. To me, I'm just constantly
It's
in
just
anxiety
slow
mode.
right now,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
Which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
If you're very busy, like 20 days out of the month, take a few days to
Right.
just kick rocks and just chill. And
That's
just
your reward for
decompress.
working hard for 20 days.
You know that
Exactly.
phrase? There's a once again, I'm full of quotes today. They always say, because you're like, oh, maybe it's slow, so that's why I'm not working, right?
Right.
But it's like the phrase, strike while the iron is hot, right? But then someone once said, which I love, is make the iron hot by striking.
It's momentum. Everything's momentum,
Right. Right. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have bad days, when it's slow and I've tried everything. I'm messaging people. I'm, trying to engage and it's just not happening. Yeah, it sucks.
Would you
for
say?
sure.
Would you say that the industry you're in, outside of let's say the actual physical sex work, just the panties themselves and just you doing stuff where there's because a lot of women are scared to physically get involved.
Right.
Some women just want to make money off of just things online or whatever
Right.
it may be, right? So just based off that, would you say that you can sustain a life like pay for a house, pay for a car, take care of your kids? Is that
Yes.
would that be enough to live without
Yeah.
physically getting involved? If some people just don't want that,
Right. Yeah, you can make a full-time income online, period.
6 figures we're talking.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. And that's why I don't tolerate excuses very much.
Right. Because many women don't want to be, because women
Right.
have emotional attachment to their body and they don't want. Let's say some women they're not capable of
Right.
emotionally dealing with
Well,
giving
it was-
themselves physically, right? So to them, this could be an opportunity to live
Yeah.
the life they want and leverage their time and
You could sell panties online and be faceless. You don't even have to show your face.
right.
They just want to look at your ass with the panties.
Yeah, just don't. An important message is don't slut shame yourself.
Exactly.
If someone else is slut shaming you, like, make it their problem.
Yeah.
Right? And society heaps shame on you.
But I just think,
Right?
like, how we said that, like, primarily we feel like farmers, like we feel in work. Some women, they feel to them, it's like they don't feel good if they were to physically give themselves. So they're scared. They're like, yo, I don't want that. But
Yeah,
to
but I
them,
feel like that has to be a societal pressure, right?
to some, maybe, to some, no, right? Like, even if you ask some guys, they're like, yo, did you enjoy the sex? And they're like, nah. Like some guys, they're like, yo, I've been running around a month and I've been having sex with random women. Be like, it's not fulfilling.
Right.
There's a reason for that, right?
Right.
Just because you're physical with them and just because you're doing
Right.
that doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it, right? Some
Correct.
people don't.
Correct. Yeah, some people wouldn't enjoy this business, and it's not for them. But that's the great thing. There's a billion other businesses out there.
Correct. But just as long as you put
just
in
sell
the work.
cookies.
Yeah.
Sell cookies.
Open up a bakery and sell panties in the back.
Dude, this is so cool.
It is. It's
Thank you.
different.
It's like you said. It's actually makes me less want to myself.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Knowing that there is a future, you know, because it's hard to look forward.
Right.
It's hard. So you're just kind of like, oh my God, right? And then with everything going on in the world, you're like, dude, like, where are we all headed? Mm-hmm. You could just sell panties, man.
With him saying how excited he is because you gave him a new perspective, how do you take care of yourself? Like health-wise?
Why are you going to try to make it about I got to get in? See?
No, hold on. Wait, why are you getting instantly triggered?
Because you're saying I won't live to 56.
My brother,
if I
need
keep up with
to
my lifestyle.
speak to. She's carrying this business on her back over here. She takes care of herself health-wise. She eats probably very good. Do you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you have like a diet? Do you have a certain regimen that you follow? Do you sleep at certain hours?
Ooh, what makes your pussy taste smell better or not? Especially
where
in
I
the.
was going
I'm
with
going
it.
there because in the panty business,
Right.
she also has to. Don't forget.
Correct.
What she eats
For
she's
her
selling
health.
Not only her health for the sake of
but
the noses.
but the wetness wouldn't be there if the health.
I'm not talking about
wouldn't be there.
wetness. I'm talking about like, what if she's like, I have this big client's underwear I'm wetting, can't have asparagus today.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Good point.
That is true. You hit the nail on the head.
Do you have like cheat days? You're like, babe, no one bought underwear today.
Yeah.
Let's fucking, I'm going to have the
Asparagus,
stinkiest pussy today.
Yeah. So I do eat a really clean diet. You know, I don't smoke. I drink a little bit, but not much. But I don't sleep well because I'm always, my mind doesn't turn off. But yeah, I try to stay as healthy as possible.
Do you do a lot of beauty stuff? Do you do like sauna? Do you do like little like?
Yeah, I get a massage once a month. I do a little filler here and there.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I've never made that a secret.
Okay.
You know, good skincare. You just gotta. I think also it's mental.
Right.
You know, you've got to.
The stress will make you age, make you feel worse,
Right.
harm the health.
Right.
I get it. So the fact that you're happy and you're doing what you love already alone brings your health up.
Yep.
Cool. That's interesting.
But
see, my brother, it's time to
I
eat some pineapples.
By 56, I got to come up with something. I got to start selling my jizz-soaked underwear.
well, you know what you could sell as cum shots because I used to sell a lot of those too.
What do you mean?
You can just come in a the Jell-O shot cups that you can buy at the store,
Just
and
like a
dudes
shot.
buy those.
Wild,
They're
bro.
called cum shots.
Dudes buy them. Gay guys will buy them from me.
Not even gay guys, just cucky type guys, submissive guys.
They just want to taste my
They'll
cum.
buy a dirty condom. They'll buy a cum shot.
That's mad weird. And what do they do?
Mad weird.
That's
Do
mad
you,
weird.
do you judge those kind of people? I
Nope.
know they're your customers. Like, I make fun of our fans, but that's, we make fun of everyone.
Right.
It's kind of like...
Well, your brand is built on making fun of your own
still,
people.
at some point, you're like, dude, bro, like, if you had a friend that told you they're buying used condoms, I'd be like, my man, like, please don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, he gets upset at me when I'm talking out loud on speaker. So
Right,
can
like,
you imagine him
Dude,
watching me
come
buy
on.
cum
If you
shots?
found out your friend was buying used condoms on
My
the
brother,
internet,
you're getting ripped.
you're getting
straight roasted. Yeah,
you're getting
right.
roasted for that, and
Yeah,
people are gonna be
I mean,
like, "You're weird."
No, you're
definitely
tripping on the
weird.
set heavy when you're doing some shit like that. You're fucking. But I'm just saying, I guess there's a market for everybody. Also,
Right.
since you're saying this stuff, is there specific websites that are people buying this on, or you could just sell this on eBay?
The
Specific websites.
Specific
Yeah.
websites,
eBay
right?
doesn't let you do this.
No, and each website has different terms and services. So, for instance, on fans, you can't sell any pee content. You can't even sell squirt content anymore, hardly, because they consider it pee. That kind of thing. So, there's websites to sell that on.
At what age do you stop squirting, or that never ends?
Say what now?
Like you said, squirting content. Do you
Yeah.
do women stop squirting at a certain age, or that continues forever?
I don't know. I think it's individual to each person.
It's crazy.
I wasn't able to
Do you
squirt
still
till
squirt?
I'm 55.
Damn, maybe once you stop having periods, you just start squirting.
That's insane. This world.
I can't wait for
There's a
menopause.
lot going on in this world. I update my software.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'll get somebody on OnlyFans that wants, P content. I'm like, you got to email me. I can't talk to you about that here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dan, imagine how different your life is. Like 10 years ago, you were like, oh, I'm just answering emails about social work. And now you're like, oh, sweetie, got to make another P video. And then we can go on vacation.
Right.
It's so dope that we could do that. Like, you're not forced into these shitty jobs where you're like a grunt worker where you feel like you can't crawl out from your situation. Right. Where now you're like, dude, like.
Has a person that you've been a social worker to came out of their situation and ever found you and was like, hey, no?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. It's interesting. It really is. It's fascinating to know that there are people that could live this kind of life. It's just you don't meet them every day and get to talk to them and pick their brain.
Right.
And
then look, 90% of the shit we just talked about isn't the others. Most of it is in this book.
Yes.
Right. So how can they get this book?
Amazon.
It's called Granny Panties: How I Made a Fortune Selling My Worn Undies. You can get it on Amazon.
Yep.
I'm telling you, for the life-changing process you went through, if all the tips and tricks to get started that way is in this little book, this is palatable, right? Like, you can read this on a plane ride and come out the other side a millionaire in a year or two.
I put do's and don'ts in there, things that I did.
do you give financial advice in there?
Not really.
Yeah, sell your underwear.
Not really
outside,
financial.
I feel like a lot of people in this field are not really acquainted with the fact that they need an accountant. Yeah. They need to do LLCs.
Right.
They're not smart enough to understand that, like, you got to approach this a certain way. And I feel it's important.
You're looking at a person, like we said, who would be successful in any other field. Most people who are like, I got to sell my underwear, probably are not good with money.
Right, yeah. But if they follow in the footsteps and they follow good mentorship and they watch her, and I'm sure that she can shine light on that, Yeah.
Plus, they can hire me one-on-one for like a coaching session.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Or you can pay her to text you good morning.
Right.
Good night.
Do the men that ever text you, did they ever ask you for advice?
I do get some questions once in a while, like relationship advice.
That's cool.
Type of thing. I try to not get too much in the weeds with that. You have to understand, too, that 75% of my fans are married.
That's crazy. So you have to kind of, and you keep that, you don't get involved in the sense where you never had an issue where there was a problem with, like, the woman finding out or you've had that or have you had some scenarios like this?
I have one that comes to mind, which was really funny. I'm on an app called Sex Panther for sexting and video chat. And I had this guy that was really into butt stuff, and he was older. I mean, he was like 60. And he would video chat with me for me to put like an anal plug in and all this stuff.
Oh, you do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, on video. Nice. And he was paying me well. Made a lot of money off of him. Like $1,000 a month. I think that's good. Well, one day I get a text through the app from his wife that discovered this and is just like, it was just and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have some fun with this because I know this guy's never gonna be my client again after this, right? So I'm like, well, he had to come to me because you won't let him give it to you in the ass.
Oh my God.
And then here's the funny thing, you guys, is that for every message she send me, I make $1.50. So the more I can egg her on.
You should just talk to her.
I did. I was just like, yeah. And then finally, after about the third one, I think she figured out that I was making money off antagonizing her. But yeah, that guy got found out.
I feel like you're fulfilling a need for a lot of relationships that they're not getting something at home.
Yes,
right.
And
like a lot of people don't find their wives
cheating.
Right. I mean, some people would view this as
as emotional cheating.
Some people would view this as like, oh, I can't give it to you, so you had to go get it somewhere else.
Right.
And you're like, bitch, just squirting your own panties, and I wouldn't need to talk to Ruby. Right.
This is a little bit of a touchier question. Do you feel guilt from doing that or not?
No way.
Never, right?
Never.
Okay.
Dude, that's like McDonald's feeling guilty. There's fat people, right? It's like, once again, personal responsibility. You download this app, you text me.
That's on you.
Like, it's, bro, sorry.
And here's from a business standpoint, He's going to give his money to somebody.
Right.
Yep.
Give it to me.
Yep.
Right. That's on.
And
yeah.
his wife is his problem. Even when I was single, did I date a couple married guys? Hell yeah. And girls are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. You know what? His wife is his problem. That's not my problem.
I completely agree.
That's their deal.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Yeah. It's.
And you can't coerce someone to cheat. They're either a cheater or they're not a cheater.
Right.
Right there. Here it goes back to being responsible for your own actions, taking ownership. He's responsible for his actions.
Right. You're just there hanging out with a married guy.
It's for him to figure out who he is as a person and why he's doing what he's doing. So it's up to him to figure out why, like, maybe that's not his fault that he was in that relationship to begin with. Like, you know.
It's his fault he was in that. He's in that
Maybe
relationship.
you're actually freeing these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should actually dox every one of your customers every year.
No.
Just to be like, you're welcome. I've given you freedom.
Yeah.
No. But no, I have zero guilt.
I get it.
Give me your money.
I get
love
it.
I would have zero guilt too.
I get it.
Do you want to plug anything? Anything else? Give us all your socials.
I'll plug it. Plug it all.
Plug it all, please.
You can go to Ruby Lynne Links. So that's RUBYLYNNE links.com. And that's links to everything. The link to my book is there, my fan site, the whole thing.
Is the underwear for sale already? Like you just log on and I go, I want that thong, and you already wore it? Or I just put in the request and you go, okay, time to go to work. Let me put on this underwear.
So I don't do anywhere until
Are you working
you
right
order
now?
it. Sure.
Are
Absolutely.
your underwear you're wearing,
Yeah.
they're going to be for sale?
Yeah.
They already have it's like almost like, this is great.
Has
It's like
anybody
ordering a Tesla?
Has
She's
anybody
like,
did any returns before?
Nope.
No one's ever returned it? Nothing?
Nope.
Well, that's crazy. That's
how frequent is the return customer? Like he said, right? The smells wear off, whatever. Like, you know.
It's all over the place. I have a guy, on the East Coast that places, 4 orders a month for either leggings, panties, that kind of thing. But then you also get the guys that it's just the allure of that naughtiness, and they'll order once and you never hear from them again. So it's a little bit of everything, and any of it is okay.
That's awesome. I could literally keep asking you questions till the sun goes down. Because
it's good because it's just something it's different. It's definitely something that, like you speak to guys that are on Wall Street. I've already heard their jobs like 40 million times before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like your business is kind of like.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
you're
This
awesome.
has been so fun.
hell yeah.
We hope you had a good time.
Oh, and
Absolutely.
also, I'm putting this on tape, but we did agree that I'm going to send you some undies to
Okay.
send to us
Yes.
after you, wear them. I don't want to fuck with your bank account, so I'll buy them off of you, obviously, because I don't want to wait.
I'll
That's
give
6
them to
days.
you.
That's a week's worth of work
That's
that you're
fine.
going to have to do.
I'll give them to you.
Maybe your husband.
You can raffle them off to your viewers.
Will your husband wear a pair for us?
If you want to.
Is your husband your age or he's younger?
He's like a year and a half younger.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, cool.
I'm a cougar all the way around.
Hell yeah.
I like
I'm
my
an older
young
one.
boy toys, though.
Okay, that she's dragging in all the young clients.
I recently shot a scene with a 19-year-old. That was amazing.
Jesus Christ,
Damn.
Yeah.
that's young.
Yep.
Okay, listen, you're a hustler.
One of my hottest selling scenes. The whole stepmom niche, that's my primary niche.
Right, which is great because you
Not a
actually look
stepmom.
like a stepmom versus like you see like those new step porn. They're like, I'm a MILF. You're like, lady, you're 24 years old.
Don't even get me started on that whole
You're like
MILF.
the MILF category now. 24-year-olds
Yeah.
are passing as MILFs. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Don't even get me started on that krill.
this is a MILF, GILF.
Gilf.
This
yeah.
is GILF.
This is the sworn in
Milfy Gilfy.
Sworn in gilf.
Sweet. I love you. Can you just clap us out and we're
Yes.
good? This is
Let's do it.
yeah.
Okay,
there's the
here we
broken
go.
thing. Boom. Done.
So much. Dude, that was
Thank you. You guys are so fun.